Good afternoon, everyone. We'll wait a little bit to get some more people to join, and we'll start a little after 12. Is everyone able to see the screen I'm sharing?
Yep.
Awesome, thank you. All right, we'll we'll go ahead and get started. As people join, I'll go ahead and add them in. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to join us for the January department meeting. We'll go ahead and get started with a reflection. Considering we're getting close to Super Bowl, I figured it would be a good idea to have a little quote from Vince Lombardi, the legend himself. It's not whether you get knocked down, it's whether you get up. You know, obviously not to go too far down the point of what we've all been through the last couple of years with COVID, but it has been a lot, and that obviously can't be understated. But what we have seen here in healthcare, in our department and in the hospital and healthcare at large, is that we're picking ourselves back up, and we're getting back to the work that we do and we know best. So thank you, everyone, for what you have done during these trying times in healthcare and what we continue to do into the future. Thank you. Our agenda for today, we have a few standing topics that we always go over. We'll go over it again. The HRO/Good Catch program that we have here at Woodland. An update on RT equipment, specifically about the 4th floor. We're going to go over hand hygiene. There's some hand hygiene audits that have gone out recently, so we'll talk about that. Certifications, specifically BLS. There's a new vendor that we're getting our BLS certifications through. So I'll speak to that. Very briefly, labor and delivery mega code signups for that for next month are in the department. Team and self-scheduling, kind of an update as to where we are there. Unit-based practice council, I believe Danielle should be joining us to speak to that. They have some slides that they like to go over, so we'll hand off to them at that point. There is some new COVID direction from the organization as to if you have a sick call or you're feeling like you have COVID-like symptoms. There's a new protocol that we go through to kind of notify employee health of your symptoms and to get direction. Employee satisfaction, we'll go over that. We'll touch briefly on the new executive leadership at the top of the organization. There's been a lot of new hires, a lot of change at the very top, and we'll speak to that a little bit. Scanning scores, we go over. Positions, we have a couple positions that we're going to talk about that have offers have been extended. My Wellness, the new year for My Wellness, we'll talk about that. EAP, Employee Assistance Program, switching to Lyra. And kudos will be done tonight since we did it on days last month, and then open forum and questions. So we go over this every month. This is the HRO Good Catch. All the tools that we have coached to and taught to over the last few years regarding the high reliability organization. If you see a team member what is exuding these qualities in their daily work, take a moment to recognize it. It's good work that we're doing, and it's even better to make sure that we are recognizing when we see it in action. So if you can write a little something, send it to Stephanie Martinez, and that will be showcased in our hospital newsletter. RT equipment, the bridge that just keeps going and going and going. Let's see, we got in the chat, Garrett Elsa. Oh, perfect. Thank you, Emily. So here's the latest with the 4th floor elevator. The 4th floor elevator is complete. So we're told all of the repairs that needed to be done have been done. What remains now is a bit of a facelift for that space. For those of you that have been up to the 4th floor, as it used to be our kind of office area and equipment area previously, you're probably very aware of the fact that the emergency door leaks during storms. So we put in a ticket to facilities to correct that leak, for one, because we want to make sure that we have clean supplies and ensure that they are kept clean even in inclement weather. Also, the floor up there has seen better days and in fact is peeling up and out. So we put in an order for that to be either repaired or replaced. So that, among some other issues, have been brought to facilities to work on before we formally go up there and move our equipment. So it is closer than we were. We're closer to this move than we were previously, but still not quite there yet. Now, with that said, we will also be moving the RT office. Currently, we're in front of the labor and delivery. It was the old labor and delivery waiting area. We're actually going to be moving back to the ICU conference room. That will be where our RT office is permanently. So with that will come some new office furniture. While it is a square footage is a little bit less, we'll get fresh furniture. We'll move some stuff around, and we'll have the space on the 4th floor to put lockers and kind of big office extras where we can. So this has been a years-long project. I know the RT department has been moved around quite a lot. But we are assured that this next move will be the last. So more to come, obviously, when we get the green light, once those projects are completed upstairs. So the ED pager. We've had the ED pager now for a couple months, and it's gone missing. There is a substantial candy reward for anyone who finds it. You can put it discreetly in the office. Just let me know, and I'll be happy to get that reward to whoever it is that brings it back. In the meantime, we're looking at getting an additional pager for the ER, and or utilizing Tiger Connect as a means by which to get new orders to whomever is assigned ED for the shift. So that is a process that I'm just beginning. That is, if it even is possible. Not quite sure the logistics or how robust Tiger Connect is, if it's able to do such a thing. But that's what I'm investigating now, since the pager system seems to have a way of not being consistently used. So yeah, please keep a lookout. If you find the pager, there is a candy reward waiting. Hand hygiene. As you may know, we have an infection preventionist on campus. A part of her task, among many other things, is to do audits on appropriate hand hygiene. There's been a number of staff members within a lot of different departments that have been observed to not be following the hand hygiene policy. And obviously what it comes down to is if you're before you enter a room, you're gelling in. When you leave a room, you're gelling out. If you're in a contact isolation room, you have to rinse your hands with soap and water. If your hands are visibly soiled, you have to rinse with soap and water. These things are very basic. It is the expectation that you guys follow this. At the very least, it's not just for patient safety, but for your own health and well-being that you're doing this. Patients that are in the hospital, generally, especially if they're in contact isolation, they have cooties that you're not going to want to have yourself. So protect yourself, protect the patients, do the right thing, and clean your hands. Certifications. So for those of you that have done BLS offsite, not here with Dave Gerner, it is done typically out through Cascade. That was the vendor that we partnered with in order to get BLS. At the end of this month, we're going to be moving to, it is not Cascade, it's Heartbeat, I believe. The way in which you get registered for that is detailed in the department. We have a laminated copy. Basically, it's heartbeat.com. It's offsite, and you can get your BLS done through them. It's the same kind of business, just like Cascade was. It's just a different vendor that we partnered with. All other certifications, whether it's NRP, ACLS, PALS, that's still going to be facilitated by Dave Gerner here or CLC. That hasn't changed. The only thing that's changed is the BLS. With that said, we are coming up on our mega code times during the month of February. There's a sign up page in the department. If you haven't signed up yet, please find a time and date that works for you, and we'll get that information over to Lindsay and Nova to make sure that you're signed up and signed on. Team and self-scheduling. So team and self-scheduling is up and active. Thank you to everyone that has put in requests, whether it's for shifts, PTO, or what have you. So far, it's working out pretty well. Well, we do have a redundant program at the moment where the posted schedules are still in the RT office. This is reflected completely on team in the team schedule. So I would encourage you guys to utilize that even more, just become a little bit more familiar with it. But so far, so good. Moving forward, the expectation will be all trades requests will go through team, whether that's switching a shift or asking for PTO or what have you. There'll be copies of the schedule that can be generated from team just at your convenience. They won't be official schedules, but there'll be copies that'll be provided. The idea moving forward would be that the source of truth for the schedule will be on team itself. And with this whole process has been pretty slow and methodical, and that this transition to team as where the schedule is going to be found, or the official schedule to be found, that'll be slow and methodical too. So more to come with that, obviously, but thank you all for engaging and participating with that so far. Also, with regards to clockings generally, so there has been a little bit of drift in so far as putting in manually your clockings for your, say, lunches, clock-ins, clock-outs. The expectation, the continued expectation is that you swipe your badge at a badge reader device at a team time clock somewhere in the hospital. There's one that's relatively close to our current RT office, right next to the ANS. So please use that. If you're not able to use the badge at the ANS office, the alternative would be to use the quick badge function through the team application. That can be done on any of the WOWs or the computer that's in the office. So just be mindful about the manual clockings. I do get reports about that, and just be sure that you're swiping or doing a quick badge as opposed to manual clockings. Unit-based practice council. I'm not sure. Danielle, are you on? Or Carrie?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, you are. Okay, so I will leave it to you. Just tell me when you want to move forward on the slides, and the floor is yours.
Okay, so you can go to the next one. So we've been working on laminating a few things for the nurses, just as reminders of, how many liters each oxygen device goes up to. And because, we've been seeing a lot of nurses, put patients on certain devices, and they, have them on a non-rebreather at like 5 liters and 6 liters. And so it's just kind of a reminder for them. So Brian and I had talked about putting these on the doors of where they grab them. And then also Carrie and I were talking to David Gerner when they have their meetings and their trainings to maybe go, sorry, my dogs are fighting. Their meetings and trainings to basically go over with them there, whether it's David or us, just reminding them about each one. And then the next page has the machines on there of what we use. And and basically this is just to show you guys to see what we're missing, and also kind of what notes you guys want to put on each one. We'll put them in the department, that way you guys can add to it. And like reminders of certain things on here, like having to do skin integrity checks for certain ones, which ones and what liters you can put humidification, and also like with BiPAP, what they can and can't do, like only a couple things, hitting the 100% button. And then also maybe going over with them on how to, I've been hearing a lot of complaints on the nurses are doing all of the Velcro on the masks instead of just snapping them off. And so it makes it a lot difficult for us to get them back on when we need to get it back on. So things like that, and educating them on those kinds of things. And then the next pages are other things that we thought were useful to go over with the nurses of, just a really small sheet that they can carry around, and making this, little held pocket one, or something they can put on their badge if they're interested. And then this page is, and we'll put this all on the table in there so you guys can add to it. But this page is if there's trachs, reminding them that trach care is a shared responsibility. And then the next page is also reminding them about NT suctioning, and reminding them that this is also a shared responsibility, because we get a lot of phone calls when we're busy saying that, oh, we had one the other day, she said she tried, but she didn't try. She just wanted us to come and do it. So things like that, just reminding them, and then telling them what types of equipment they need in order to do certain things. So, and then we had talked about a team building event, and we were thinking that March 18th, it's a Friday, maybe around like 4 or 5, doing, we don't know the time yet, but doing it's called Smash Sacramento, and they have axe throwing and the smash rooms. So if anybody's interested, we'll do a little sign up sheet for that as well. And then that way we can see who's coming. But that's it for us.
Awesome. That's very cool. Excellent work on the little oxygen and machine handouts and flyers. I think those little nurse badge buddies will go a long way to answer questions before, you know, having to call a floor therapist to answer it for them. So awesome job. Are there any questions for the Unibase Practice Council folks before we move on?
I just want to say, I think this has been really great. I like where you guys are headed with this. And I think you took the right route in really leveraging the nursing educators, because I think there's so much I don't want to say propaganda, but just so much visually that gets, you know, sent to our emails and posted on the walls. And I think some of that stuff can be missed. But if you have somebody really going through the parameters of the different modalities, I think that's going to be really helpful. I would also just suggest that I know I think we have 3 nursing educators here. So make sure when you talk with David that you get anybody involved that you need to be involved. I have found that sometimes I think I've covered everybody I need to cover with him as the one nursing educator, but then it doesn't get out to a certain subgroup of other nurses that maybe needed to know the same information. But you guys are on a great start, and let us know how we can help.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay. So new COVID direction. I've sent out the PDF form.
No. Sorry, I'm yelling at my dogs.
No, you're good. So I've emailed out to you guys the PDF copy that came from the organization. During the throes of COVID, the expectation was that you just simply call employee health, tell them that you have COVID-like symptoms, and they would follow up with you. They would email you. They would get in contact with the management, myself, and that process would move forward from there. Now, since we're kind of on the back end of COVID at this point, Employee Health has determined that it would be more efficient to go about reporting COVID a little bit differently. So just to reiterate, this is the kind of paperwork that I had sent out previously. This is the official kind of narrative from Employee Health as to what you guys should do should you be feeling like you have COVID-like symptoms. It involves testing at home, uploading tests to a specific website, and it's kind of confusing, to be perfectly honest. So Sandy and I spent a lot of time, energy to kind of deconstruct this to its most basic level, so it's as convenient and as frictionless as possible. And the first and foremost is to ensure that you have what's called OTCA Verify on your phone. This is another security measure that's similar to Dual Mobile. You need to have really both of these secure apps on your phone in order to access your employee your
Employee Central.
Yeah, Employee Central. Thank you. I
Yeah.
was brain farting on that one. Employee Central from home.
That one icon, yeah.
Yes, that one. Yeah, it kind of boils down to that. You need to have both these apps on your phone in order to access what you need to access from Employee Central to upload these tests, go through these surveys. So for those of you that feel like you're a little under the weather, but you're not sick enough to not show up for work, the messaging essentially is wear an N95 mask when you're on duty. If, however, you are feeling as though you have COVID-like symptoms, Then you have to go through and perform a home antigen test. Whatever the results are of that antigen test, you are to take a photo of and then upload to the to your Employee Central through this website. And the last QR code did not work. Okay, I will fix that for you, Emily, when and the rest of you guys afterwards. If you're calling in because, say, you just sprained an ankle, obviously just you're following the department policy, calling the shift lead, and we make arrangements on the back end. You don't have to go through performing any kind of antigen testing, obviously. But if you do fall into the category of where you have COVID-like symptoms, this is essentially the path that you're going to be following in home testing first, and then 48 hours after your first test, you're taking another test, another antigen test at home. Both of those results are to be uploaded to the Employee Central, and Employee Health will be following up with you for further guidance, and myself insofar as the time that you are going to be placed off of work and during your COVID sick time. Now, with all of that said, there is the banks for COVID time may still be showing up on your team. However, that benefit has been not re-updated this new year. So there's no more time that you can have for being out with COVID. This would be an excused absence. However, it wouldn't be covered with those hours. It would be coming out of, if you're a benefited staff member, it would be coming out of your PTO. If you're non-benefited, it would just be a non-paid sick day. So there's a lot there. Obviously, the resources are available to you guys. I'm available to help answer any questions. I will send the slide deck out with the updated QR code for the Okta Verify later. But before we move forward, are there any questions? Okay, as it comes up, I'm sure in the moment there'll be some growing pains. Obviously, feel free to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to help navigate it with you. So moving on, employee satisfaction. Obviously, we do our best to communicate with you guys all the things that are upcoming, not just with locally within Woodland Memorial, but also at large with Common Spirit. You see the insights in the department. You see them on Tiger Connect. A lot of good information there if you have the time to just kind of briefly go through them. And to specifically hit on some questions that I scored low on our last employee satisfaction survey. What I brought to you in December was senior leadership is dedicated to serving those who are vulnerable while keeping the ministry financially sustainable. So I ask you guys now, for those of you that were participating in the department meeting last month, what do you guys think about that? How do you think we can better exemplify this in our organization? Admittedly, it's a tough question, right? It's hard to see what it is that we're doing day in and day out. A lot of it, however, is showcased in those insights. And I try to give you guys some snippets, some highlights of what it is that we're doing. But any thoughts about this at all?
Well, I know we just completed recently the mock challenge. I think that's something really good that we just internally do here at Woodland. For those of you who have been here for several years, historically, Dr. Henry Mock sponsors his own like donation match program. And I think that's something that, I'm proud of, just kind of our employees here. I know that's a very local level, but I think that's a really good example of how we're not necessarily taking away funds and finances from our overall goal and organization, but we're just really promoting that, like, as a community, as a hospital, this is what we stand for. We're trying to give back. And, in that instance, it doesn't cost our organization money to do it. It just takes one champion and a lot of contributors, and we do make a difference. So I think that's a really great example of how we're doing that, like just recently at Woodland. But we do want your feedback on this, because that's something that we can take higher up. Maybe when you answer this question, I don't know if you guys think of just Woodland and those higher level people, or Common Spirit as a whole. And, Brian's talked about how we have the two, Common Spirit level updates and the Woodland updates. But we do want to make sure that you guys feel like we're contributing in a way that's not detrimental to our business, right? So let us champion that for you. If you have ideas or suggestions, communicate those with Brian or I.
Absolutely. So with that said, we'll put a pin in that one for now. And I'll leave you with this to kind of mull over for February's meeting, which is another question that was scored particularly low. It is the actions of this organization live up to our mission. So now, this is something that's come out recently in our emails. These are not the actual people that are at the top of Common Spirit. They are obviously actors, but to convey the point that we have a lot of new executive leadership in Common Spirit at large. Just to name a few, our Chief Executive Officer used to be Lloyd Dean, a name that should be pretty familiar to all of you guys. That Lloyd Dean has since retired, and his spot has been filled by Wright Laster III. We have now a new Chief Information Officer, a Chief Mission Officer, Chief Legal Officer, Chief Financial Officer, President and Chief Operating Officer, Office of the CEO, Chief Administration, and to round it all out, we have a new Chief of Human Resources, a Chief Strategy Officer, and a Chief Clinical Officer. It's a lot. It is a huge amount of new talent, a huge amount of new faces at the top of our organization. And while the individuals, there's not going to be a quiz later, obviously, but this is more just to kind of let you guys know that the Common Spirit is going through changes, I guess. And from everything that I've read and everything that I've shared with you guys, it seems as though these are highly motivated people to bring the organization into the new year in a financially sustainable way. And I'll hand it over to Sandy to speak a little bit more about that, if you like.
I think you encompassed it really well. I just, I know this memo went out to all of you, so it is, I had to pull it up to see who it was like addressed from. It is from Wright Lassetier. And I encourage you all to at least, scan through that email. I think there's a lot of telling information in there, not only of the changes, but how they are really trying to, from the top down, be good stewards of our business strategy. So they're aligning things, eliminating redundancies, and really kind of, I feel like, putting their money where their mouth is, right? So I know that the hospitals, particularly during and after COVID, we've been through a lot. We've been squeezed. And I think that I appreciate them kind of looking at a top-down approach and where they really can gain efficiencies and make the business stronger. So as Brian said, I think there is going to be a lot of changes coming down the pipeline. I don't know that. I don't know of any changes like off the top of my head, but just having this many new people in leadership, there's going to be a lot of really fresh ideas and changes. And I think we're ready for that. I think, you know, the common spirit as a company was kind of marching down this path, and then COVID hit, and then we were off the path in the weeds a little bit going, wait, how did we get here? And kind of really forging this new path forward. So I think there's just going to be a lot of positive change coming down, and I'm really excited for it. Of course, we will keep you guys in the loop as we learn more, but I think this is the first steps. So that's all I have.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Scanning scores, again, something that's audited every single day by me. You guys are doing good. I want to specifically shout out Carrie King today. Came across a broken scanner, put in a work order ticket, and got it fixed same day. We got a fully functional scanner and a fully functional WOW now as a result. So that is exactly what the expectation is. And thank you so much, Carrie, for doing that. Really not only helps out making sure that we are treating our patients in a safe manner, but also paying it forward to the rest of our staff to make sure that they also have functional equipment so that they can do the right thing too. So thank you very much, Carrie. And ABGs. So beyond scanning our meds, the expectation is that we're also scanning for our ABGs when they come up. It is very similar in fashion. You're scanning the patient's barcode, you're making sure that it's going to the printer and you're able to put the label on your specimen to hand it off to laboratory for it to be ran. And of course, with the requisition as well. So be sure that you take the extra step to do that. It's what the expectation is. It also is a patient safety issue. If you have any problems with technology, if you have any problems with connecting to a printer, I know that there has been some connectivity issues in the house. If you come across those, please put in a ticket. They can try to amplify the Wi-Fi signal in any area of the hospital to ensure that you're able to get connected to those printers. And it's the same type of ticket that you would do for a scanner. It is the IT. So if you need help with that or the icon or what to do, just reach out to me. I'd be happy to walk you through it. But yeah, please continue to have this as a part of your practice. Positions. We had posted two Tier 2 temp full-time positions, and we got nobody applied for it at all, zero, goose egg. So I went back to the drawing board. We reposted them as RCP1 temp full-time, two of them, one for days, one for nights. Sandy and I have interviewed some candidates, and we have extended 2 offers. We're waiting to hear back on them. So we should expect, hopefully by the end of the week, either a yay or a nay from those candidates, and we'll be able to get some more help in the department. The expectation is we are still going to run our department 3 RTs on days, 3 RTs on nights, obviously. Per census, obviously calling those folks off after 6 hours, as we have been doing. However, if we find ourselves with a sick call potentially, or if the census goes up, these folks can obviously help us out. It's a temporary position, meaning that they'll be here for 90 days, won't be extended. Their onboarding is going to be about 2 weeks because they will specifically be working in the ED and on the floors, not in the NICU or the ICU. The training that we have required to be fully functional in all areas of the department it would be too long, to be quite honest, for them to be practical and to help us in our acute needs now. So they'll have a truncated onboarding session, orientation, and specifically be utilized in those 2 areas primarily. When after their orientation period is over, they will be considered the lowest for seniority. Therefore, if there are 4 RTs that are on schedule, and there's no volunteers to be HC'd, the temp workers would be the first workers to be called off. And of course, more direction will be given as we get closer to that, to our shift leads specifically, as they'll be the ones that will be fulfilling that task. But just kind of a broad strokes of what to kind of expect as soon as we get these folks oriented and onboarded. And my wellness, we started this program last year. It is starting anew this year. I would encourage you guys to start. It is essentially, it incentivizes good behavior. You make a you register on the app, and based on what it is that you do, whether it's stating that you're getting a full 8 hours of sleep, exercising, walking, eating right, you'll get points. Those points can be turned in for rewards, specifically like gift cards, as an example. So the QR code to the sign up page is on here. I'm sure Emily will let me know if it works or not. If it doesn't, I'll correct that one too. And we went over this last month as well, just to kind of reiterate. This started the beginning of this month. Employee assistance program was kind of a hodgepodge of a lot of different applications and resources that you could take advantage of for mental wellness, whole health. They have consolidated that into a new program that is now called Lyra. And to sign up, there's a QR code from here. This is in your email, and I believe I've sent this out on Tiger Connect several months ago. So just for your information. Kudos, we'll pick kudos for tonight. And as we did days last month. And that kind of rounds out our department meeting for January. I'll open it up to you guys for any comments or questions. Oh, the link has expired. I'll have to update that. Thanks, Emily. Besides that comment, any other comments or questions? Well, I will take the silence as everything is crystal clear. I want to thank you again for your time, and look forward to seeing all you guys next month. Have a good rest of your day.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.